Welcome back again to the channel, everyone. I hope you all have been having a great week. Let's talk a little more about Hunter Biden and our skewed legal system that serves the privileged in our country hand and foot. I felt compelled to make this video because I keep seeing posts on social media like these, and I quote,
Hunter Biden is pleading guilty to 3 federal charges. Great. Accountability is amazing. Democrats support the fact that nobody's above the law. Republicans can't say the same, though.
Well, plenty of people are looking at this so-called accountability and are seeing some glaring truths. William Kirk Esquire has done an excellent follow-up. Here's an excerpt of his insightful commentary.
So here's what we're talking about. We're talking about the sweetheart deal that Hunter Biden got as it relates to lying on a Form 4473. The one that he gets a pretrial diversion agreement for, because Mr. Biden answered in Section 21 that he was not an illegal user or addict of controlled substances. But then Mr. Biden also authored a biography in which he claimed that he was completely hooked on crack cocaine during the exact time that he filled out a 4473. Now, what I want all of you to understand is that a lot of people just scoff and say, well, people do this all the time. Lying on a 4473 is a serious criminal offense, and it actually doesn't really constitute one act of criminal conduct. No, I think actually successfully lying actually can get a person charged with 3 separate crimes, and a prosecutor could do this because under applicable federal law, it is unlawful for any person to knowingly make any false statement or representation with respect to the information required by this chapter to be kept in the records of a person licensed under this chapter. That is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. But if you read additionally into the same legislative scheme, what you also see is you make any false or fictitious oral or written statement to a dealer with respect to any material to the lawfulness of a sale. And that is actually punishable by up to 10 years in prison. But then let us also remember that if the person, through their lies, is able to take possession of the firearm, which is exactly what occurred here, well, now we have an unlawful person in possession of a firearm as well, thus constituting the 3rd felony charge. Now, many of you are screaming bloody murder that he got a big break, but then there are those on the other side that's saying, hey, it's not that big of a deal, really. People don't really go to jail for that. And what they're doing is that most people are citing to a story from the Washington Post, but a cursory Google search on how many people go to jail for lying on a 4473 will show that not only people are busted for it with a great deal of frequency, and oh yeah, people go to jail for it with a great deal of frequency.
William is great. You should totally follow him on YouTube. Me personally, I watch every one of his videos. In order to undermine the partisanship on display here, I'm going to talk about how Fetterman racially profiled a man and chased him with a gun in another video.
Can you imagine black people walking around with guns? Can you imagine black people being able to own arms? Absolutely not.
For now, look, partisan politics is a disease, and is it any surprise to be called out for promoting an us versus them agenda in the rule of law when ugly, ugly inequalities rear up? Of course not. It's par for the course. As I have stated many times, the anti-gun movement is factually a racist enterprise with the means of slavery at its core. There are plenty of videos on this channel establishing that. Check them out. Anyhow, thanks for your time, everyone. This was a little longer of a video. I try to keep them short. Like I always say, stay safe, be lawful, and never give up your rights.